So we're back working on the 1913 Jardine Co pipe organ, which we've done a fair bit of work on already. This is as you might expect from the age, a tubular pneumatic action. So what we've got here, we've got the two manuals, we've got the grate and we've got the swell at the top, and then inside these connect to these boxes here, which are we can see a bit better, which are full of valves which blow air up these tubes when a key is pressed, and they go up to these motors, these little pneumatic motors up the top, which we've already replaced. We give the tap of a key, there we go, we can see one of them popping up and down. We haven't got a stop open at the moment, so let's, there we go. And that's what controls our notes. So we've got the grate, or the pneumatics for the grate are at the front at the top there, the swell is at the back behind it, and then we've got this like a relay mechanism in the middle, which goes in between the keyboard and the swell. And the reason that we've got that is because we've got a load of pneumatic couplers on the swell, so that if we wanted to, we can play the swell from the keyboard on the grate, or we can play an octave above or below on the swell, or we can play the swell an octave above or below from the grate keyboard, so that we can combine different sounds together. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. If we have nothing on the grate, well, the grate stops are off, and we've just got a couple on the swell. If we have a look down here, we've got this one note where we play something on the grate and it's playing something on the swell, so it shouldn't be doing that. So the coupler mechanism, you can see this rat's nest of pipes in here, of tubes in here I should say, and that's where the mechanism takes the air from the valve which is attached to the key, and it blows it through this mechanism, and then it sends it up to the rest of the action. So we'll go into the back of the organ now and we'll have a look at the mechanism, and we'll take it apart and see if we can find what the problem is that's causing this one note to play when it shouldn't be. In front of us we've got these 5 different sections that correspond to our tubular pneumatic coupler action. So I think the one that's causing us the problem is the top one, so we're going to take that apart and have a look inside. I've already taken one of the others apart and fixed a cipher on another note which was caused by a bit of grit, so maybe it's that, or maybe it's some other issue in there. We'll take it apart and have a look and see what's inside. So here we go, we've got our coupler action apart, and what we can see up here, we've got air coming in through one of these, behind one of these little flap valves for each of the notes, and then it can go out through this other hole next to it. And the flap valves are there to stop the air blowing backwards through the coupler mechanism and playing lots of other pipes when you're only wanting the one to play. And to control this mechanism, on the other board we have an air inlet at one end, and then each of the notes has a little a purse made with some very fine thin leather, and when you turn off the coupler mechanism, it inflates these little bellows, these little purses with some of the air from the wind system, and that just then holds shut that little one-way valve, and also blocks over the hole next to it, so that you get no air going through this pipework. So we've got a note that's playing and it shouldn't be playing, so that's probably because one of these little one-way valves is not seating properly. I think it was the third note up from the bottom, so this one here, let's have a look underneath it. There's no obvious sign of grit, but what I can see is that the little one-way valve is not quite on centre. There's a little gap over to the right hand side, and it could be that is what is causing our problem. So we're going to do a bit more investigation, make sure we are actually looking in the right place, and it's not a different bit of coupler mechanism that we should be looking at. So what I'm going to do is get a bit of paper tape, put it over the two holes, put the board all the way back on, and then see if the problem's gone away. And if it has, then we know that this is the bit we need to look at and fix. There we go, a bit of paper tape blocking the hole that we think is a problem. Pop the mechanism all back together, screw it down, and see if the problem's gone away. Right, so that's all reattached. We'll go around to the console and see if it's all working. Right, so we're back at the console. We haven't got any stops on the grate. We've got two stops on the swell, none of the couplers are on. This was the note that was causing us problems before. You can see it's not sounding. Of course that's not fixed because we want it to sound when we use the swell to grate, like the other notes. But it isn't. So what we're going to have to do is go back inside, now that we know we've identified the problem little one-way valve, and adjust that so that it properly covers over the hole. We've got the cover off again, and we're going to have a look at this little flap. Let's remove our masking tape from before, now that we know which one it is. There we go. Just have a look. Yeah, it's just been glued on slightly off to one side. So what we're going to try and do is reuse this. So, let's see if we can get this off without having to damage it, because it will save us having to make a new one. So other than being in the wrong place, it looks quite good. There we go, just gently work it off. Pop that into the place I think it should go. Make sure we got it centered this time. It's pretty good, and we'll get a bit of glue on that. Doesn't need much. All the glue is dried and the cover has been put back on, so it's time now to test to see if we've fixed the problem with the coupler action. So here we go, we're on the swell, we've got some stops pulled on the swell and nothing pulled on the grate. And here we go back to that key that was causing us some problems. And there we go, we don't get anything. See it sounding on the swell, but not on the swell to grate. But if we pull the coupler, there we go, we get swell to grate, so it's working as planned.